Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Proline College Basketball Show. I'm John Cranton, joined by Jim Feist. We're going to take a look at the Alabama-Florida game and Notre Dame Marquette. But first, let's run through some ads. Jim, last Saturday was a big day for you, your college basketball game of the year. I know you were 3-1 on top plays, as well as 6-3-1 with all plays, including Xavier. What do you have on tap for this weekend?
Well, Xavier was an interesting game, up 13 at the half and went up 17 in the beginning of the second half, and then actually lost the game by 4. Most of the people won this game because they were getting 4.5, 5 on the game. Huge letdown. They bounced back last night with a big win over Memphis, again at home. Also last Saturday I had Cal, which was a loser, but my big plays, Vanderbilt, a 41-point victory over Mississippi State. Georgetown +7, a straight-up winner by 11 on the road. A monster Saturday, 6-3-1 in basketball, 3-1 on my top plays. Now, that's a streak of Saturdays. I've been red hot on Saturdays and red hot most of the time throughout this last month or so. I have my college conference game of the year triple header on Saturday. That's right. Each play is $100 online, but you can get it for just $10. You get all 3 plays by calling 1-866-841-1655. 3 big monster plays, just like my other big plays this year. You want to get on this, $10, a triple header, game of the year. That's right. 3 plays, $10, 1-866-841-1655. And on a daily basis, if you want free winners, just text WINNER, WINNER, to 313131. John?
All right, and Dave Kogan, he's also off a terrific Saturday, 8-3 with all basketball plays. That included a championship game of the year with Utah State, a high roller window play on St. Mary's. He's stepping up this Saturday with his college basketball game of the year. This play is 23-9 lifetime with Dave. Now, you can buy it for $99 online. However, if you want to get it for just $19 with a guarantee, Dave guarantees you win. You get the rest of the college basketball season free on him. Sign up early and get an under-the-hat bonus play going tonight, 1-866-896-1629. All right, Jim, a couple of games going this weekend. One of them is the SEC rivalry showdown, Alabama at Florida. You get Alabama playing a rivalry game against Auburn this week, blew them out 61-43, and then you got Florida coming off that loss at Tennessee on Wednesday night, so they're coming home. Is this a game where underdog Alabama can use their defense to keep it close, or is this another Florida blowout on the home court?
Well, the interesting thing about this, John, we go by power ratings, and of course, Florida had been highly rated, 22-5 on the season, but they're slipping lately. And the reason that happens is because these kids have played, 27 to 30 games. They know they have a conference tournament coming up. They're one of the top-rated teams in the country. They're getting a lot of press. But these are young men, 18 to 22 years old, generally speaking. They're affected by all of this notoriety. And they start to think about conference championships, tournaments, and the NCAA tournament where they could possibly win a national championship. So I think what happens now this time of year, and I know it, I'm not thinking, and I know it, they take the eye off the ball a little bit. They're unfocused. At the moment, they go to Tennessee, they don't play well. They've been, a lot of these big teams at the end of the season where they really know where they are, they don't come focused. And it's kind of a mistake to back them because they're over adjusted by the odds maker and overrated at this moment because of the on-focus attitude that they have. Alabama's playing well. They're 19-9 on the year. They're not a bad basketball team. They're basically an under team. You look for a lot of defense from this club. A couple of weeks ago, you probably would have made Florida about a 16-point favorite in this game, which is kind of an amazing number. But, even if I saw a 12 on this game, I would take it. I like Alabama, and I like the under. I think the focus by the underdogs right now against these big schools and these highly rated schools is the way to go.
Well, I'm going to take a look at the total, and it's similar to what you said. Alabama's on an 11-2 run under the total. You get the two teams here, Florida and Bama. They are 1-2 in the SEC in points allowed, like a slower pace, and bring that tough defense. The offense for Alabama, just 63 points per game. That's 267th in the nation. And I question whether this Alabama team can step up against a really good team. I mean, when they face a team with a winning record, they're 3-10 against the spread. And if you want to take that a step further, when they face a team with a winning percentage above 60%, they're just 1-10 against the spread. However, they are on a 20-7 run over the total going back to last season. Florida's not going to be in a good mood. They're going to bring their best defense after that game against Tennessee. Florida's also on a 4-1 run under the total. They are tops in the SEC in scoring defense, just 53 points per game. And look what happened last year when they played. Florida swept the two games. They were low-scoring games, 61-52, and then the SEC title game or tournament game was 66-63. Thing about that game, Alabama shot a sizzling 53%, but they only scored 63 points and couldn't win the game. So on the Florida court, I can't see them coming anywhere near 53% shooting. The only way they're going to be able to be competitive is to slow the pace down, which they love to do anyway, and Florida is a similar style. I see a very low-scoring game, both teams about in the 50s. Okay, before we get to the Notre Dame Marquette game, we have our man on the street, Jeff Sod of LVSS, who's been on a phenomenal roll, and he's got a free pick for you on a Saturday total. Jeff, what do you have?
They have a free play coming up. First, LVSS has been on a 56-26-2 run, 68% in basketball, 24-7-1 in the NBA, 32-19-1 in college. Get 2 weeks of hoops for only $14, a buck a day. It will include a conference game of the year going Saturday. Start winning with Red Hot Las Vegas Sports Services tonight. Call 1-866-575-8916. Your free play is Saturday in the Pac-12 as Arizona heads to Pauley Pavilion to face rival UCLA. There will be no shortage of offense as these teams are 1-2 in the conference in scoring. Arizona has seniors guard Mark Lyons and Solomon Hill, one of the top 3-point teams in the Pac-12, while UCLA has freshman duo Shabazz Muhammad and Jordan Adams scorching the nets. These teams met January 24th. Even though both teams had some problems on offense, UCLA missed 12 free throws and Arizona was only 5 of 24 from beyond the arc. It still sailed over the total by 14 points in an 84-73 UCLA win. Look for another up-tempo game loaded with offense. Play Arizona-UCLA to go over the total on Saturday. Once again, get 2 weeks of basketball for only $14, $1 a day. It will include a conference game of the year going Saturday. Start winning with LVSS. Just call 1-866-575-8916.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Before we get to a Notre Dame Marquette, we have our Twitter question of the week. You can Twitter us at Jim Feist Sports or at Facebook using Proline TV at Facebook. And if your question is selected, you get thrown into a drawing to win $100 of any handicapper plays from any handicapper of your choice. Jim, Jason Godfrey of Jacksonville, Florida, asked us, the Florida Gators are one of the few teams in the nation with quite a bit of senior leadership in college hoops. So is that an aspect of tournament play that you must factor in, especially with so many guys leaving early for the NBA these days?
Well, if they're experienced players and they've been in the big dance before, it definitely plays into it because they know how to handle the pressure. Anytime you do things repeatedly, you usually get better at it. So when you get a bunch of young guys that don't have that experience, I do factor that in. So senior leadership and experienced people that have been in the big dance before, or even the conference tournaments before, it does play into the fact. Unfortunately, the odds makers know this too, and they usually put it in the number. But I take a look at it. But overall, I'll take a look at how teams have done in pressure situations, especially their road games. How do they do when the crowd's against them and everything is going against them? Can they stand up? Can they make their foul shots? Do they turn the ball over? Things like that. And usually you can find a good horse in a long race when you get these teams winning on the road, even laying points and covering on the road. They're usually pretty stable, and they'll do well.
Yeah, it's not number one on my list, but it's certainly, I think, a very important factor that I look at in March play. A senior leadership veteran is very important. I think of that 2000 Michigan State team, which was number one in preseason. Pretty much all the way through the season, they won the title. Well, that was an experienced, senior-laden team. A lot of those guys said, we're not going to the NBA the year before. We're going to come back and try and win it as a group of seniors, and they did. the Duke team back in 2010 that beat Butler for the title. Very experienced team, and Duke had a bunch of flameouts in the March play leading up to that team, and they were kind of under the radar a little bit, but that was a very experienced team, and they won the whole thing. And even though Kentucky won it all last year with their freshman group, let's not forget that Kentucky and Calipari's young teams leading up to that year, they had a lot of flameouts despite a ton of talent and even number one seeds. So don't overlook senior leadership for March play. It is a significant factor because you have guys who have played together. They've been through tough games, the pressure situations. They can handle that better many times than freshman kids. Okay, let's take a look at a Big East game coming up on Saturday, Jim. You got Notre Dame playing at Marquette, two of the top 5 teams in the Big East. Notre Dame has 5 full days of rest, and Marquette 15-0 at home. They have not lost at home this season, but Notre Dame has only lost 6 times, a 22-6 record. Who might have the edge here to knock off Marquette at home? Or is that home court going to be the difference?
Well, I'm not going to bet against Marquette at home. That's for certain. Not if you're talking about a pick'em game. Well, this is not going to be a pick'em game because of their record. They're 20-7 on the season, where Notre Dame is 22-6. Both are very, very strong teams. The Big East, it's a shame this Big East is disappearing because this is a great league and the rivalries are magnificent. Marquette at home, they should win the game. The question now becomes, how are they going to do against the point spread? So it really comes down to what is the spread going to be. If you look at power ratings, I'm going to see somewhere between 4 and 6 points. Well, Notre Dame is kind of an under team. Marquette's an over team. But I think when you have a team like Notre Dame, they're going to try to control the tempo of this game so they don't get into a situation where Marquette can dictate the pace. But at home, and we've seen this a lot over the years, home teams get a lot of whistles, and that could make a big difference here. But I'm not going to lay a lot of points with Marquette. I think Marquette is a money line play and possibly a money line parlay with some other teams that you like. Maybe you take 3 or 4 teams that you like to win a game and are afraid of the point spread, and parlay them into a money line parlay. For example, 2 teams we've talked about, Marquette and Florida. I think that would be a great money line parlay, but there's going to be quite a few out there. So you do a little bit of your own handicapping or call the office and try to get it into some of our picks. Some of those games where the lines might be a little inflated, but you're not too sure about the underdog covering, although I like Alabama to cover at 12 or 13 if it comes that high. But Marquette laying 4 to 6, I'm not going to do, but I sure do like them to win the game.
I'm going to be a contrarian. If anybody can beat Marquette at home for the first time all season, I think this Notre Dame team is capable of doing it. They've had 5 full days off, 22-6 record, winning road record. And this Notre Dame team, they're number 1 in the Big East in shooting from the field, almost 48%. They're also tops in 3-point shooting, almost 38%. So they can beat you in a lot of different ways. Very good rebounding team with Jack Cooley up front. And we saw that they're a bit of an underrated defense. They destroyed Cincinnati on Sunday, 62-41. They shot their normal 47%, but allowed just 31% shooting, a plus 16 rebound edge. And I mentioned an underrated defense. Keep note that when the Irish play a team with a winning percentage of above 60%, a really good team, they're 43-15-2 under the total. And Marquette has that sizzling mark at home. It's really the bench that has led Marquette much of the season. They're 5th most in the nation with bench scoring about 30 points per game. And they're very good against the Big East, 21-11. But here's the thing, they played Syracuse the other night, got that close win, 74-71. But look at the free throw difference, 29-35 for Marquette, the home team, getting the edge. Syracuse is 5 of 7. Notre Dame is very much a physical team in the low post. I think they might be able to not have that kind of an edge for Marquette at the free throw line. And then there's last year's games. Notre Dame blew them out on their home floor, 76-59. Marquette shot just 39% from the field. The matchup is very good for Notre Dame, number 1 in field goal shooting, number 1 from three-point land. Marquette is in the middle of the pack defensively in the Big Ten, not only against the field, but in free throw shooting. So I'm going to take a shot here and say that Notre Dame will pull the upset in this one on Saturday. Okay, we got a big weekend coming up, and Jim, you're fresh off that Game of the Year winner, and you're going to step up Saturday with a monster play, a triple header for fans who might not have got in on that big winner last week.
Well, John, if you look at the schedule for Saturday, there's probably 5,672 games being played. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's page after page, and it's a lot of work to get through all those games. So what I do is I key on some teams that I absolutely have been following all year long. They're in perfect situations, and there's 5 or 6 of them, and out of that 5 or 6 that I really feel, and I'll have strong money on all 5 or 6 of them, but there's 3 that stand out in my triple header countdown of Game of the Years, Conference Game of the Years. This is $100 per game online. You're welcome to go online and buy those games. I'd be happy to sell them to you for that. But you can get the special. Just $10 gets all 3. And just call 1-866-841-1655. I have found these gems in that big schedule, and we're going to take advantage and cash in this Saturday. Make the call, 1-866-841-1655.
All right, and speaking of gems, Dave Koken is stepping up Saturday with his college Game of the Year, top play of the entire season. He's off an 8-3 Saturday, including that championship Game of the Year with Utah State. Dave is 23-9 lifetime with his college basketball Game of the Year. You can get it for $99 online. However, if you want to get it for $19 with a guarantee, just call Dave at 1-866-896-1629. All right, that'll do it for this week's show. Jim, thanks for joining us, and make sure you sweep the board this week, and good luck with the games, everyone.
Bye-bye, everybody.